Hello. Here I am back at UNH. Thanksgiving break is over, and I'm ready to learn math, and I'm still looking away from the camera like some sort of phobia that I have. I brought my tablet back, so I made an animation yesterday, and people on the place where I put it, they didn't like it very much. Some people did. One man said it was not very good, but I said it was my first animation, really. So that it was actually pretty okay that it wasn't that good, which I think is true and also made me feel better. I went to math this morning. I don't know if I mentioned that already. I went, and it was important to me because these next few weeks will make the difference for this whole semester. And it's important that I do well. It's important to me, and it's important to me later. So it's immediately important to me on an emotional level, and it will matter later when I will want to have done well. My heater doesn't work, and it was cold, and I forgot to bring back blankets, and I need to do laundry and all sorts of everyday things. But beyond that, I have been rearranging my priorities and my schedule, and one of the results of those rearrangements was a literal rearrangement of my room, and I now have more desk space to do math, which I'm very dedicated to continue to learn and to finish strong this semester. And I animated a lot yesterday, and I didn't do any math, but I don't think I'm going to be animating at all today. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of math and maybe a tiny bit of animation towards the end of the day. And saying something like that is a little depressing to me in some ways, because it's like, today I will not art. I will not. Even if I'm inspired, I will not art. And that's sort of, it's like, part of me is like, it's no good. It's sort of, it's a downer to restrict yourself that way. But restrictions are good sometimes. Sometimes they're bad. Sometimes you can get carried away like I did, where to the point where waking up early overrides everything and you don't have any fun. And the result is that you break out of that and you stop waking up early altogether, and then you start going to the things that were early, like math, and the consequences of that are not the greatest, but it's an obvious reaction to an overreaction in the first place. So you swing from one extreme to the other. But, just like I animated all of yesterday, I can not animate today. So sometimes that's good, where I go from 100 to 0 and then back to 100. Just like I didn't do any math yesterday, I can spend all day doing it. And in some ways, that's always been easier for me. Middle grounds are hard, but giving something my all is a lot more straightforward. It's hard to transition for me, but restrictions can still be good. They're also the most dangerous, though. So I'm only going to animate for an hour and a half after the first hour, but I took a break. And I'll watch this math video, and then I can do that again more. And then all of a sudden I've animated all day. So something that my friend told me, he's on a diet, and he said that one exception leads to more exceptions. So if you say, I am not going to animate today, I'm going to only do math with my free time, and then you say, except just now when I'm going to record a vlog, then you might say, and right now, and also here, and in fact I don't really need to do math. And then all of a sudden you've done the math and it's exactly the same as the day before. So what I've found is you need to set it up in a way where you don't want to make exceptions. So what I was doing for a while is doing one thing a day, and I'm not sure if I've talked about it here, so forgive me if I have. But what I did is I said, I'm going to complete one assignment every day. and only one. And I'm going to do that one assignment really, really well. And it worked beautifully because I said to myself, come on, you have one job. You really want to not do it, procrastinate it for tomorrow? What kind of, you really think you're going to survive like this? Just do this one thing. And then when I'm doing it, I don't feel rushed like, oh man, I have to hurry this up because I have 2 other things I have to do after this, before dinner or after dinner or whatever. And it's just like, with this, it's like, well, I might as well do a good job. I mean, it could be interpreted they don't really want me to write all this out, but just to be safe, and I'll have the patience for it because it hasn't been used up on an earlier assignment. So having a reasonable restriction and then sticking to it makes the thing that you want to have happen, and it makes it so that you feel good about sticking to your goals. And I've done it every time. So some sort of happy medium, while extremely hard for me, is actually the best in the long run. In the short run, animating for 6 hours produces 6 hours of animation work, or recording for 6 hours for 3 days, where I get from the beginning of Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, to just having beaten the forest and fire temples in a weekend, which is what I did. But now I don't want to play it at all because I'm sort of burnt out on it. If I had just played 3 hours a day and limited myself, or whatever, then maybe I would continue that 3 hours a day for the next 2 weeks. I'm going to do it later, but I mean, the expectation is when I do play, I'm going to play for a really long time. And I think that's sort of interesting, trying to strike that balance between restriction and flexibility. And I think it's hard, and I think that you just sort of have to play it by ear. At least I do. Some things you have to be firm about for a certain period of time, and other things you can let slide until certain things happen, like I have to wake up before this time, or I can't wake up after this time, which is the same thing. Or I can only wake up after this time once a week, or like I can skip a class, but I have to only skip it once a month, once every 2 weeks, once a week, whatever, once a semester. And a lot of those are made after the fact, but sticking to things helps a lot. And if it makes you feel good and confident about yourself and your ability to stick to your things and accomplish your goals, and if it really helps you, then it doesn't really matter what you do. Whatever you figure out that works. If recording a vlog and then procrastinating for 3 days and then working solid for 1 day gets you that B, A, C, whatever you want, whatever grade, if it helps you succeed and then you graduate, or you get that promotion, or you get hired, or you finish that work, or you help that client, or whatever, if you achieve your goals, it doesn't really matter, does it?